So we've just finished setting up the third scenario. This is kind of like a sequel to the last scenario we played. Yeah, where the Spanish have retreated after the last battle, which they lost, and a portion of the United Provinces fleet, again led by an Englishman, but a different one, have pursued them. And I think if I read it correctly, this guy didn't realize that there were some they got reinforced.
No, they're refitted and rearmed.
Okay.
He thought they were out of ammo, I think.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it's like, we'll just go in and smash them up.
I see. Right. Yeah. So
he just sailed straight in.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And unusual thing about this scenario is that everything is reduced. It's reduced from 100 meter hex to a 50 meter hex.
And
half the time. Yeah. So everything is closer. You can see that everything starts right next to it.
And so the ships only fire once.
Right. These are autos, which means it's basically like land shoal autos. Yeah. So if you sail into here, you're automatically hard aground. And then this is all open, so it's just going to be smashing into it. Yeah. So these guys are going to have to come down here and then go this way and that way.
I think what we should probably do before we...
So one unusual special rule in this scenario says a ship may only change facing one hex side in each hex it enters by wearing. To me, that's confusing because our understanding of the rules was that normally you can only ever change one hex side anyway. So that part is a bit confusing. So an unusual thing about this scenario is that we use this table to determine the firepower column, and so the effect of that is that he's able to rotate at anchor as the Spanish without suffering any penalty when he's shooting, which was not the case
in the previous.
And then normally if you turn at anchor, you get shifted up to a worse rate of your ship, and if you're like a T-rated ship, which is the worst, and you rotate, you get shifted totally off the firepower table, and you can't shoot at all.
Well, that's curious.
So another thing where it doesn't seem to say anywhere in the manual what T actually means, because for a while, we were thinking that it stood for transport, but it doesn't seem to. The word transport doesn't seem to appear in the manual, as far as we can tell. So that is a mystery that we're going to look into. So for his first activation, he just turned ships at anchor and then shot at me. And now for my first activation with my first ship, I just kind of went straight in adjacent to him, opened up. I rolled well on the combat table and got 2 hull hits, which gets him out of action, so he can't shoot with that anymore. So at the end of the first activation for the UP, I just tried to keep my guys at distance. So I just turned them from going this way to going this way. I'm also trying to keep them upwind, because in our last game, being upwind was a huge advantage, or it seemed like it was a big advantage. I just turned them, not moving very far. I took out 2 ships, that ship and also that ship, with some lucky rolls. I'm rolling better this game than the last game. So here's the state of things at the beginning of turn 3. The UP is just trying to edge this way. The wind is blowing that way, taking out 2 Spanish ships. And it's now the Spanish activation. So I'm now thinking, still turn 3 of my activation, I'm thinking that going this way was a mistake. I think what I should have done was I should have turned my ships that way and just tried to stay at range, because now as they pass past this ship that I took out, they're going to be in range of basically 3 ships, which is not what I want. And it's really, as they're passing, they can get shot one at a time. So every turn, one ship is going to pass this ship that got taken out, and 3 of his ships are going to be able to shoot at it. So that's not a good situation for me to be in. So here's the state at the beginning of turn 4. Yeah, so it's just this ship that has been destroyed is kind of blocking line of sight for all of my ships against his ship, and we're just kind of like, whoops, hiding. We're not really hiding, we're all waiting to see who's gonna get hit. That this guy only has 1 hit point remaining before he won't be able to shoot anymore, so that is precarious. And I'm just trying to maintain distance from these ships as much as I can. Yeah. So here's the state of things at the beginning of turn 5. Yeah, I lost that ship. This is just not a good situation for me because he has 3 ships that can all shoot at 2 of mine. So this is a bad situation. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is try to turn these ones, maybe, to try to all gang up on that one. But these guys are in a bad situation, and I maybe need to like turn them away or something. I'm not sure how to get them out of danger. Okay, so in a moment of tremendous drama, this is still turn 5. Yeah, that was good luck. I'm getting very lucky this game. I'm getting as lucky this game as I was unlucky the last game. So yes, turn 5. I won initiative. This guy, I shot with him. I got a hull hit. This is his flagship of this fleet or whatever. And now with this guy, this ship started here. I did a backing sails to turn him, and I moved up 2 hexes. He shot with this ship against me, and he only got a rigging hit at such close range. So it was tremendous luck on my part. And he rolled a 9, so he really should have obliterated me there. So now I'm going to get to shoot back at him. He only has 1 hull hit remaining. I think you might still be able to shoot even on your other side. So we'll see what happens. Here's the state at the beginning of turn 6. One of my gunboats, unfortunately, just happened to get hit from his before I could shoot at him. So this could have gone either way because he had only 1 hit remaining. I had 1 hit remaining, and he just happened to get a hull hit on me before I could shoot at him. So yeah, it's not going super well for me. I've just been getting too close to these ships here. I should have been trying to like stay around here, something like that. So this is interesting. I was able to get maneuvered onto his rake line,
which is a hull hit.
and he's able to shoot with his chase gun before I can shoot at him, and he just got a hull hit on me, which could have killed me. So that's ridiculous with his chase gun. So, but now I'll be able to hit him back, but that could have been very bad for me. So my ship did successfully execute a rake, and he just did 2 hull hits. And he took a hull hit himself. So this is, and when by flipping his counter, I flipped his counter, he went from a G to a T. So he actually became a better rated. He became a better rating for this scenario because the T class ship, if you look here, it has a longer range. So I just made his ship better, which is ridiculous. So this is turn 6, is that right? Or do
I think so. Yeah, I think that's right.
So yeah, it's the first activation of turn 6. This is the flagship, just shot at my ship. We both missed at 100 meters, which makes no sense at all. Yeah, I've lost 2 ships, struck their colors. It's just not going well. I didn't realize how strong that ship would be, because it has 8 hit points. It has 4, and then you flip it over and it has 4 more. So that has not gone down as quickly as I thought it would, and so I've moved in too close to the rest of his ships. I should have stayed further back and waited until I took that out, and then I could have moved in further. So that was my main mistake. Okay, so there is an optional rule called the river current, which basically means that if the river current is going this way, which it is in this scenario, it's going this way, and it's going this way through this M section. Any ship that's facing either directly into the current or within one hex side of the current has its movement points reduced by 1. So all of my movement this way would have been a lot slower going,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's better for me.
If you're beating it, it's a bit effectively an island.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I would have been, I don't know, that might have been better for me, but it's just good to know.
You this way, yeah.
Yeah, it keeps me further away. So we just had a heated discussion about this ship, which is in irons. The ship is facing that way.
You have the choice to execute the maneuver or not execute the maneuver, and you know that if you execute the maneuver, you move backwards. So your choice.
I'm saying the rule says that I would not move backwards.
No, it says it would be treated as drifting when it moves. But what I'm saying is,
Okay, so the question is, this ship is in irons, it's facing that way. There's another ship behind it. In order to get the ship out of irons, there's a maneuver called the sternway maneuver. Now, the rule says that when you do the sternway maneuver, you have to drift 1 hex with the wind, and then you can rotate out of being in irons. However, it says moving backward as part of sternway would not cause collisions because you treat it as part of drifting. And it says in the rules of drifting, if a drifting ship would move a ship into a hex already occupied by another ship, then you just keep it in this hex that it was already in. Now, my opponent is saying that is, well, he's saying he doesn't understand it to mean that.
I'm saying it is superseded by the
Okay, so
scenario.
yeah, so right. So my opponent is saying that there is a scenario special rule that says that ships may not intentionally enter hexes occupied by other ships. They must make any move possible to avoid. So he is interpreting this special rule as to mean that
if you execute a sternway, you know that you will move into a hex with another ship.
Right. So he's saying, my opponent is saying that by somehow this special rule makes it such that by executing the sternway, I would necessarily have to enter that hex. Where my interpretation of the rule is that the drift rule here very clearly says that the hex could be left in place. It would not enter that hex. So that's the debate, and I'm just going to ask on the BGG forums, and we'll play it the way he interpreted it, but I don't think that's correct, but that doesn't matter.
I think because
Okay, so
range of 1.
we're realizing now that we've been not rolling for sinking properly, because this ship had no hull hits remaining, so we should have been rolling each at the end of each turn, and on a 7 or less, it would have sunk, which would have been possibly helpful for my ships because they could have stayed more this way instead of coming around where they're more within range of his ships. So just a note for the next time. Here's the state of things at the beginning of turn 8. I have 3 ships left. He has 1, 2, 3, 6. So not going well for UP.
Well, there was only 2 ships difference at the start anyway, so it's...
Yeah. I think my mistake was moving in too close. I think I should have tried to stay further away. Here's the state of things at the beginning of turn 9. I sank his flagship last time, and I commented that I think what the proper procedure would have been for him to try to transfer his commander to another ship when his ship looked like it was in danger of sinking. And so we both forgot that was a thing. But otherwise, I only have 3 ships left. 1 is aground. So it's not looking good for me. I think with the remaining turns, he would have plenty of time to sink the rest of my ships. We are halfway through turn 12. I just did my activation as the United Provinces, and we just realized that because of the way the victory points work, I got 4 victory points for killing his commander, and the boats are worth so little that he has to kill my commander, which is in this boat, in order to have a chance of winning. And that boat still has all of its hit points left, so it's probably not going to happen. So at this point, it's looking like I have bumbled, or we have collectively bumbled into the UP winning I made tactical mistakes, and then he just happened to forget to shift his commander onto another ship. So interesting, chaotic game so far.
Kill your,
Yeah, right.
your officer.
All right, we're calling it at the end of turn 12. It would have been the start of turn 13. This is the state of things, and we agreed that there's no way he's going to be able to destroy this ship. And even if he did, I could, now I know I have to try to transfer that commander to another ship, so I'd try to transfer him to here.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no way he'd be able to get that. So it's just kind of bad luck that he was rolling terribly on his combat rolls, and he just forgot, or both of us forgot about the commander transfer. That was the deciding factor. Yeah. I would say you played better than me in this game. I fumbled this whole area. I should have been trying to do loops here.
I think
or drop
this
anchor.
particular scenario showed how much of a difference that makes.
The die roll.
Yeah. Because you rolled very
I rolled
well.
much better,
I rolled
yeah.
really bad. If
Yeah.
we had have rolled average, I think it would have been a different I don't know which way it would have gone. But
Yeah.
It would have been a different to what we've got.
Yeah. Well, that's why people like chit draw, because it limits the variance.
What's chip draw?
Chit draw is you have certain numbers in a bag, and you pull the numbers out of the bag. And by doing that, you're going to have a set distribution of
Everyone's
outcomes.
going to have the same points. It just depends on when you get them.
Right. So that would be like two chit draw bags.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would have my chit draw bag, and you would have your chit draw bag,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
we know we're going to have the same number of hits, like some of
Yeah.
good hits and whatnot. So, yeah.
I don't think I've played a game that uses that system yet.
I've never played a game that has a chit draw bag for each person, but
yeah.
they do use chit draw for activations for things.
Okay. Oh, so okay.
Yeah. So I think my mistake, I should have kept my guys here. I should have dropped anchor, focused on killing his flagship first before getting closer. And I think if I had done that, I think your response would have been to try to get out of slip anchor and then try to come to support your guy, or maybe slip anchor with this guy and have him retreat away, something like that. So I like that scenario. It was a good one.
Yeah.
So, I asked on BGG. I asked the designer who was right about the reversing. What is it? Sternway in place, and the designer said I was right about that disagreement we had. You can sternway in place if the hex behind you is occupied. But while I was on the BGG forums, I saw someone else's after action review of their fighting of the battle, and I noticed that they referenced that it was very narrow, and that made me realize that we had actually not set it up correctly, because you can see that shoal K is supposed to be auto heart of ground, meaning basically it's land. So this K area is supposed to be land. So all of the maneuvers I did on K, around K, were all illegal. And I really was supposed to be funneled down this main area instead of going over to this side. So basically I'll have to replay this to really get a sense of how it's supposed to play out. I'm guessing it's going to be very difficult to maneuver, because my thought was, well, the way to play this is to try to stay here and pick off these ships one at a time. But now I'm thinking, well, it could be very difficult to cram all of these ships, 6 ships, into this very small area without having them run into each other and have them able to target these ships. And then also, I would imagine that if I tried to do that, my opponent would then just have all of these ships come out of anchor, slip anchor, and come to support their other ships here. So yeah, basically I have to replay this to get a sense of how it plays. But really fun game and a fun scenario.